So, this is going to be a first in a series of videos on adultery. What I want to talk about today is the signs that you can see someone is committing adultery towards you. And I'm going to pick the side of a man committing adultery because as a man myself, I can identify with these signs. Women may be a little different or not, but I think for the most case, they're basically the same. Now, first sign that I would say happens is the cell phone. If you find your partner, and this could be a woman too, either way for this, is when they seem to be hiding their cell phone from you, always having it in their pocket, always shutting it off, always concealing it to some degree, and always frequently on it, but never wanting to show you what's going on, or hiding it from you, kind of, shading it from you, so to speak. Those are usually indications that there's communication with somebody else there, and that person doesn't want you to know who he's communicating with, in the sense of the guy. So that's the first sign. Cell phone. So if you see him hiding his cell phone, turning it off, always on it all the time, but doesn't really want to tell you what's going on, there's pretty good indication. Sign is the frequent departures to go to the store, whether it be to pick up milk, go to the hardware store. Always seems to be when you least expect it. Oh, I forgot to go pick this up, or oh, I want to go to the store and grab a pop, or oh, is there anything you need me to get at the store, kind of thing. Never on the way home. It's always while the person is at home and then leaving to go to the store. If it's a frequent thing, like once a day, I would question that. If it's a couple times a day, it's very certain that that person is having a relationship with somebody else because they want to be available to that person because they're infatuated with that person. That person makes them feel good, and well, they want to spend their time not with you, unfortunately, but with that person. That's the sad thing about it. The fourth one is one of two things. Either he picks fights with you all the time, or if you are angry at him, he just kind of brushes it off and doesn't really care. Doesn't want to engage in defending himself. So it's one or the other. Usually is the case if he's arguing with you all the time, he's again justifying his actions or his adultery in this case. In the other sense, if he doesn't seem to want to fight back, doesn't really care, it's because he's lost all emotional connection with you. He just doesn't care anymore about the relationship. So that could be the case too. Either way, you can look out for those signs because they're usually evident. And it's usually one or the other. The fifth one is anxiety. This person seems to be really uptight, on edge when he's around you. Very anxious too. Like seems like he just doesn't want to be around you. Wants to avoid you at all costs. He'll find all sorts of excuses to do something. like go work down in the shop, or go out with the boys, or go fix the car, or whatever the case might be. Always finding something to do, because again, it's just like going to the store business. He would rather be talking to this person whom he feels is making him feel good about himself. This person is most likely building his confidence in a sense too. And because when you first meet someone, if you're single, right, and you meet someone you really like, and you guys seem to really hit it off, have a lot in common, yeah, like sparks fly. You feel good about it. You want to be around that person all the time. You can't wait to be with that person again. You can't wait to go for dinner with them and talk with them and stuff like that. So the natural reaction tendency is to do the exact opposite with the person you're with. You don't want to be around them, plain and simple. So, sign is the accusations. You could be working late at the job. Let's say you're a hairdresser, for instance, and you're a woman hairdresser, or whatever, you're a mechanic, whatever you want to be. I'm not being politically correct here. But you happen to be late coming home from work. Then you hear from him, why are you late? What are you doing? You seeing someone? That kind of stuff, right? What that is that he's bouncing or projecting off of himself onto you his guilt. He's seeing someone, he's fooling around with someone, but to justify it, he wants you to admit you are seeing someone. And he'll lay all sorts of guilt trips on you for that. That's a common one. It could be anything. It could be on the phone with somebody, and especially if that person never was questioning you before, always trusting you, and then all of a sudden, like, you just got off the phone with someone and you didn't really disclose who it was you were talking to, and then all of a sudden he says, oh, who are you talking to? Always asking you questions, like, questioning you, giving you the third degree on stuff. So that's a clear sign, usually a sign. So it could be one of these signs or all of these signs, in a sense, combined. Some things to consider is that a lot of times, like a man, he's very visual. He's not emotional so much as visual. Right? Women tend to be more emotional than physical, or I should say visual in a sense. And because of that, sometimes he's going to be intimate with you, which will be surprising. But don't let it fool you, because like I said, man is visual. He doesn't really it doesn't affect him as much if he's making love to you or something like that, right? It's husband and wife deal. So a lot of times, even if he's cheating on someone, what he'll do desperate measures, especially if you've sort of caught on to him. He will say, he will go as far as to, be intimate with you, because he wants you to think he's not, right? He doesn't want to get caught. He doesn't want to be the bad guy, right? So that's what he does. So he'll be intimate with you, which is, a lot of people might find that surprising, but it's not. You may be asking yourself, well, why should I be suspicious, right? I've trusted him all this time. I'm not saying that you need to panic. I'm not saying that, all men are cheating, it could be very good reasons why he's doing certain things, right? Might be going through a stressful time in his life. He just wants to be alone. Whatever the case might be, it's not always his case. But if these things are happening, you still need to be aware, because this could be happening in a sense. And if you catch it early enough, there's a way to stop it. But once it goes to a certain distance, there's no stopping it. You could be a pastor. I don't care if you're a pastor, a missionary, it doesn't matter. Once somebody has engulfed themselves in the desire of a particular person and have broken that barrier, sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot convince them to stop. They've gone all the way. I've heard of stories like that before, personally in my own experience too. I was an adulterer years ago. I was even raised in the church. Doesn't matter. Somebody gets you at your weakest point in your life, affects you in a certain way. It could be a problem in your relationship, your marriage, whatever. You're not really looking for it. It tends to just happen. It just presents itself. And, as a man, you have to make a decision, right? You're either going to accept this or you're going to reject it. When you're grounded in Scripture, you're grounded in the Word, and you're having a relationship with Jesus Christ, the chances of these things affecting or happening to you are very, very slim. But when you're not in communion with God, and this, even pastors can be this way. I've heard many, many times how pastors, they don't pray. Their wives, even pastors' wives, will say, my husband just isn't communicating with God. He's not praying. He's not worshiping. He's not spending time in His Word and spending time with Him alone in the prayer closet. Well, these are all things that cause us to be open to all these things happening to us, even if we're not even looking at it, in a sense. So, now, all of these signs, the reason why these are signs to begin with is because in a relationship, you want to have communion. You want to have communion, yes. You want to have communication with each other. A strong communication with your partner will resolve so many things. There's no doubts in your mind when you're communicating with each other. I'm not talking about yelling and screaming at each other. But I'll give you an example. If someone calls me on my cell phone, I'll immediately tell my wife, oh, that was so-and-so. And this person was asking me about this, whatever, right? I had an instance, for an example, I had the other day, I had somebody call me after hours, from my business. And I took the phone call. My wife immediately, for some reason, thought, who was that, right? Like, who's that calling? And I told her, I said, well, that was so-and-so. They called me late. I don't know why they called me late, but, I had to deal with it because I recognized the number or whatever, right? So, it just takes a few seconds to communicate. It makes all the difference in the world. It sows any doubt in someone's mind. As soon as someone doubts that maybe this person doesn't love me anymore or whatever, doubt is a really funny thing, So even if you're on your cell phone, texting someone, you say, oh, honey, I'm texting someone, this particular person, because I want to tell them about this or whatever, right? There's so many reasons why all these things that are going on don't have to happen. When you're in communion with each other, with the Lord, when there's a fear of God, when there's communication in the marriage, all makes a huge difference.